Okay, good evening, everyone. So good to see all of you. Some new faces this week and some returners. Again, it's nice to see everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. My name is Brian Cofrancesco, and I'm the District Leadership Development Coordinator, as well as a member of the Kiwanis Club of Meriden, Connecticut. I want to welcome you to our workshop, which is the 12th session in our virtual workshop series. Tonight's presentation is Serving as Lieutenant Governor, which is a really important topic to ensuring that our district continues to have strong leadership at the New England and Bermuda District level. We hope you're enjoying these workshops so far and that you'll encourage other members of your club to join us as well every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. You should have received notice about our March workshops via email that went out a week or two ago. And if you or any club members are not receiving our emails, please send us a message at education@newenglandkiwanis.org. I just put the link in the chat, and we will be sure to look into it and make sure your subscription is active on our email list. I'm also dropping a link in the chat to registration for our March workshops. So I believe you've all seen it since you're here with us tonight, but if you'd like to register for other sessions, you can find that link in the messages. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, we're very happy to say that these workshops count towards interclub credit for your club. All you need to do is ensure that you have the minimum number of members from your club in attendance based on your club's size. So if your club has 20 or fewer members, you need to have 2 of your members in attendance to count this as an interclub. If you have 21 to 30 members, you will need to have 3 in attendance. And if you have more than 31 members, you need to have 4 or more members in attendance. If you do have enough to qualify, you can report an interclub for every club that is here with us each week. And you can report that to your club secretary, who can submit that with their secretary's report. So to help everyone determine the number of interclubs they can report for tonight, we invite everyone to please introduce themselves in the chat. So just a quick message with your name and your club, and that way those who are able to count interclubs tonight know who's here. You can also write down the names as they come in if you'd like to share with your secretary, or if you hit the little ... next to the chat, you can save tonight's chat and you can then share a transcript within the list of the clubs. I'm also happy to remind everybody, if you weren't here last week, that David Griffin is the newest member of the Education Committee. He is our interclub liaison. He will be taking attendance during our weekly workshops based on what's put in the chat. So please make sure you introduce yourselves. We will then post a list of the clubs who are in attendance on our Google Shared Drive. So you can share that with your secretary if you prefer, and that will have the accurate number of clubs. The link to the Google Drive is in the weekly workshop confirmation email, and we'll also post it later in the chat. And lastly, last week actually concluded our 3rd month of workshops in this series, and we really want your feedback to help us improve and prepare for future workshops going forward. So we ask everyone to please complete a brief survey. I'm dropping the link in the chat. It'll take you 3 to 4 minutes, and it will really give us valuable information. So whether you've been here for just a few weeks or since the beginning, please take that survey sometime in the next week and share your feedback with us. Before we get started on tonight's workshop, a few housekeeping items. Please remember to keep yourself muted so that we have an uninterrupted presentation. If you are new to Zoom, you can find the mute button in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And if you see a line through that microphone, that indicates that you are muted. You are welcome to keep your cameras on so everybody can see you and to really give the feel of an in-person workshop. But if you prefer to keep your camera off, you may do that as well. If you are watching on Facebook, thank you for coming and joining us tonight. If you have questions that you'd like asked of our presenters, you can leave those in the live stream. And of course, those of us who are here on Zoom, you can post your questions for our speakers in the chat, and we'll make some time for question and answer at the end of the presentation. Tonight's workshop will be about an hour. We are live streaming to Facebook, and we will also post a recording on our district YouTube channel in the next few days. So with that, we are ready to get started. Tonight's session is Serving as Lieutenant Governor, and it is presented by past Lieutenant Governors Leleath Bailey from Hamilton, Bermuda, and Dana Bartlett from Colebrooke, New Hampshire, and Paul Lafleur who's from Berlin, New Hampshire, and is also the chair of the Past Lieutenant Governors Committee. We were expecting to have Dan Andrews from Mount Washington Valley this evening as another co-presenter. However, unfortunately, he and his wife Janice do not have electricity tonight due to windstorms in their area. So please keep them in your thoughts. We know it's cold out there and they do have heat, but please keep your fingers crossed that they have power restored soon. Tonight, Leleath, Dan, and Paul will be talking about the important leadership position of Lieutenant Governor and how you can serve that position in your own division and really help support the New England and Bermuda District of Kiwanis. After their presentation, we'll have a video message from your governor-elect, Gayla Bartlett, about serving on her 2021-2022 board, and then question and answer. We have some very, very experienced and enthusiastic Kiwanians presenting with us tonight, and I hope you're excited to hear from them. So with that, I will pass the workshop off to Leleath Bailey, Dana Bartlett, and Paul Lafleur.
Okay. Lieutenant Governor is the leader of the division, works with existing clubs and opening new clubs to strengthen Kiwanis and community in the division. Communication resources, education, information between the clubs, and global Kiwanis organization. Work closely with club leadership, especially with club presidents. Ensure club presidents feel supported and have access to information continuously to improve their members' experience. So on the next slide, I think is that mine also?
No. Okay.
Okay, I just follow through. All righty. Sorry, I'm behind on this. I just caught on to this to replace my good friend.
Okay, Paul. The duties of the Lieutenant Governor is to support clubs to implement a strategic plan, work with a certified instructor to coordinate club presence in education, actively contribute to district strategic plan, develop a division action plan and division membership plan, coordinate assistance to clubs with a certified club counselor in the division, the district membership team, members, and Kiwanis International, and serves on the district board of trustees. And now I'll turn it over to Dana. Dana?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm going to take a moment just to introduce myself to the people who may not have remembered me from conventions, but I'm Dana Bartlett, the immediate past Lieutenant Governor of Division 7, which encompasses the northern third of New Hampshire. We're not at the end of the world, but we can see it from there. I'm also the immediate past president of the Kiwanis Club of Colebrooke, which is an active club with 61 members. 3 years ago, I was approached by people in my division and asked me if I would accept a nomination for Lieutenant Governor. At the time, I knew nothing about what a Lieutenant Governor's responsibilities were, and they assured me that it was real easy. All you had to do was go to a couple of club meetings in your division and go to the district convention. So I said, sure, why not? So from that point, of course, once I was committed, I very quickly learned that there's a lot more to being the Lieutenant Governor. I received my Lieutenant Governor's resource book from Governor Leleath, who was a very energetic and inspiring governor for us that year. And I think we had a wonderful year. I spent the first year just slowly learning how to do the duties of Lieutenant Governor. And I had accepted the nomination for a 2-year term. My second year of Lieutenant Governorship came up, and that was an entirely different year for a number of reasons. One, COVID-19 threw a monkey wrench into things, and we had to completely shift gears and go to virtual meetings, and we had to cancel a lot of our projects, and as did all of the clubs in our division. And it was very difficult at that time to get organized and continue to communicate with the clubs. But we seemed to muddle through it okay. and the experience was a wonderful one for me, so I'd highly recommend it. Well, I'm supposed to speak to you today about the qualifications, and I know we have an outline there, and I've got it kind of in the middle of this presentation.
Yes.
Personally believe that the most important qualification for being lieutenant governor is to be passionate about the mission of Kiwanis, and therefore have the desire to help the members in your division and district get the most out of their Kiwanis experience. I think if you have that passion and that desire, all of the rest of the qualifications kind of fall into place for you if you're willing to use your resource books and the help of your fellow board members. So that passion that you have actually comes from experience with active participation in your club projects, along with knowledge of basic Kiwanis club operations, which you gained by serving as a club officer. The passion is also fueled by attendance at district conventions, officer training sessions, and interclubs. I would highly recommend that anyone considering the lieutenant governorship be active, go to conventions, go to the officer training sessions and interclubs. You're going to learn so much from people with so much experience in Kiwanis that it will give you that drive and enthusiasm to continue on and serve your district. As the conduit for information and communication between your division and the district, the lieutenant governor should be familiar with the communication within your division and be willing to learn and use Kiwanis online reporting. That communication within the division can be in the form of newsletters. It can be your visits to the other clubs. It can be your close relationship that you have with the secretaries and presidents of the clubs in your division. But any way that you can get information from the clubs in your division is very helpful, so that you can pass that information on to the district, and they can be most helpful to the clubs in the district. The lieutenant governor will receive monthly reports that are submitted online by the club secretaries in their division, and those reports are due every month by the 10th of the month. And then in turn, lieutenant governor will send out online reports to the district secretary, so that we have that connection between the district and the clubs in our division. The lieutenant governor should also be familiar with the tools and the resources that are available through Kiwanis International in order to help their clubs when they need guidance. When new officers and directors of the division clubs have questions about their duties, it's important for the lieutenant governor to have thorough knowledge of the literature in the Kiwanis Leadership Guide. By attending meetings of the district board, of which the lieutenant governor is a member, they'll have resources on that board to tap into for help as well. So whenever I ran into a question that was posed to me from one of my clubs, I could go to all of my resource books, and if I couldn't find the information there, I could very quickly call a fellow board member or Governor Leleath or anyone else and get a very spontaneous answer to that question, get back to the club as soon as possible. The lieutenant governor should also be able and willing to build relationships with the club leaders within the division, particularly the presidents and the secretaries, so as to keep in touch with their needs and also to acknowledge their successes and give them encouragement because of those successes. As you can gather, the lieutenant governor must be organized and able to manage time as well in order to perform these duties. Now more than ever, a knowledge of basic computer skills is very helpful, as most of the tasks must be done virtually due to COVID. I think that a lot of people probably considering being a lieutenant governor worry a lot about what I just said, that time management. Do I have time to do it? Can I do this? Can I fit it into my schedule? I'll tell you, you can do it if you feel passionate about being a lieutenant governor, passionate about Kiwanis as a whole. At the time I took on being a lieutenant governor, I was running a very busy dental practice full-time. I was running an event venue that I owned and operated. I'm in the process of starting 2 other businesses. I was on every board of directors our community had to offer, including the town planning board. And I still somehow managed to find time to be a lieutenant governor and thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Went to all the conventions. I had a great time there with Elise and her board of directors and all the people who participated. So I don't think time should be an issue. It's more, how do you feel about Kiwanis? And if you're passionate about it and you want to see Kiwanis thrive, then you're the person that we want to be a lieutenant governor in our district. Holding the office of lieutenant governor for your division might seem like a daunting task. I'll tell you, every ounce of effort is paid back with a pound of rewards. And by serving, you'll feel part of a much bigger organization, and your passion for Kiwanis will touch exponentially more people than it would had you just stayed in your club and not got involved in a district. The relationships that you develop in the process of being a lieutenant governor are fantastic, and I'm sure those relationships will last a lifetime. And like I said before, you will learn how to do that job as you go along, and you'll learn quickly because you have a lot of support with the district, a lot of support from previous lieutenant governors. Paul, for one, was extremely instrumental in helping me perform my duty as lieutenant governor. I really appreciate that. But there are a lot of people out there that can help get through it. So don't feel like you have to know everything about it, be able to do the job perfectly. Everybody does it differently, but I think everybody that has done it has, for the most part, been very instrumental in helping their division. So in closing, I would just hope that we encouraged anyone that is considering the position to step forward and serve their division. Decision that I feel you won't regret. And thank you for listening to my spiel. Leleath, would you like to add why you think they should be a lieutenant governor?
Yes, coming from Bermuda, I had the privilege, as you did, to observe other lieutenant governors. And starting with the lieutenant governors here, although we're a small island, we have at least 16 well, all of them are not current. I'm the current lieutenant governor, but we have about 15 past lieutenant governors. For a small island, I think that was pretty good. But I found that if you want to aspire in Kiwanis, you've got to observe. You have to, as you stated, Dana, watch what others do. The older ones will get you through. And I must say that Governor Esther Brown, I really appreciated the help that she gave to me, because although I was a lieutenant governor, she obviously saw something in me, and I became the chairperson of the past lieutenant governors committee. So as Dana has stated, if you have the passion and you have the commitment, there are other levels in Kiwanis that the lieutenant governor position can take you to. And I would just like to say some of the other duties that lieutenant governor should be able to do is to attend all regular and specially called meetings of the Board of Trustees, the district and international, and district conventions, as Dana said, and district training conferences. Hold a minimum of a divisional council meeting per year, at least 4 meetings per year. Encourage clubs to follow all the bylaws and the policies and complete all division reporting, as Dana has stated. Make a minimum of 3 visits to each club that you serve. Install the club officers and or induct new members if you're asked to help. provide good committee activity in each of the clubs, promote good working relationship between Kiwanis clubs, assist the clubs in scheduling and helping to solve their problems, maintain good relationship between the district office. This is very, very important. Relationships are the pinnacle of Kiwanis. You can't get around that. And also support a succession plan to ensure a seamless transition, you know, for someone who is preceding, current, or succeeding administrations. I think those are also some of the important things that lieutenant governors have to do in order to succeed and have good clubs under them. Leadership is most important. You must remember you are the role model and people are watching. I happen to know that Governor-elect Gala would like to have a full slate of lieutenant governors when she becomes the governor, the district governor. And I believe we are looking at least for 5 more lieutenant governors. So we are here tonight to get support for Galia and Kiwanis on a whole, to give those of you out there who may not be aspirers yet, the encouragement to do so, because Kiwanis really needs you at this time. With the pandemic upon us, we are sitting here online. We are communicating. Communication is very, very important in Kiwanis. Take, for example, where we are out here in Bermuda. If we didn't have technology right now, where would we be? So we are keeping up to date on what is happening with the district and Kiwanis International. And hopefully person-to-person meetings in the district and Kiwanis International will come soon, sooner than later, because I really, really miss seeing my friends over in New England and Kiwanis International. So let's pray that things get better. But in the meantime, those of you who are listening, like Dana said, you may be a president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Those positions will qualify you to become a lieutenant governor. So think hard on that. Don't be afraid to come out of your comfort zone. I know sometimes we kind of sit back and we watch, but we don't want to come out. But have the courage to step forward and help Kiwanis out at this time. And Paul, do you want to add anything at this time?
I believe you covered that pretty well. And since, as I look as the presenters, we are all past lieutenant governors at one point, and that's gave us the incentive to keep on working with our district. And past lieutenant governors go way back and to 1980 when it was made into a committee and at a convention in Hyannis, Mass. And at that time there was 59 past lieutenant governors present and adopted bylaws and elect officers and directors. And the whole idea of that was to be able to help the district in promoting various projects that we do, and mainly to help the current coming in lieutenant governors. Back then we had competition, quite a bit of competition within our divisions, and some of us probably still do, but I find like in our division, and Dana will say, we stay on for a couple of years because sometimes it's difficult to find someone else to come over and take our spot. And we're hoping that, and that's why we as past lieutenant governors try to do the best we can to help out a current governor, lieutenant governor. So if they need a resource, we're there. We're willing to help. If it's someone in your division you're really firm with, that you can contact with, that's the way to go. And there might be someone outside of your division that can help you. You never know. But I'm sure there's a contact that can answer some questions for you. Now, even some of them are past secretaries or are current secretaries or current treasurers. They can help you with these other guidelines that you may need. So I strongly, those of you that consider being a lieutenant governor, as Dana's spotted said, that you get to meet people and get to know things around you in other clubs and see how it works. And you can turn around and share that with everyone. So I wish everyone the best of luck with all that. I know it's difficult to step up sometimes, but if you take the chance, go take the ball and run with it.
Yes, that's right. That's a good way to do it. So I just had a few more things to add in closing. Once you become a lieutenant governor, you have an official visit by the district governor, and that is on a yearly basis. And clubs have to provide for that. Also, membership growth is one of the things that you will really have to help your clubs with. Without members, there is no Kiwanis. It's no way around it. So right now, that is top priority. The other thing, don't forget our service leadership programs with the Key Club, the Circle K, Builders Club, the K Kids, and the Action Club. And lastly, organize your election for Lieutenant Governor. Those of you who are listening this evening, the Lieutenant Governor-elect elections is coming up in April. That is next month. So you have 1 month to step forward, to consider what we brought to you tonight, and really think about it. And you can do it. You can do it. I know you can. So with those closing remarks from myself, I just wish that we get 5 more, at least 5 lieutenant governors, 5 presidents or secretaries or treasurers to step forward. And you will get the help that you need. Thank you. So I think we'll end on that note and accept any questions that the audience may have at this time, Brian. I'll just close out.
Excellent. Thank you so much to Leleath and to Dana and to Paul. Before we do some questions, we're going to show a brief video. Governor-elect Gayla Bartlett is with us tonight, but she is recovering from surgery. So she submitted a pre-recorded video encouraging folks in attendance tonight to consider running for lieutenant governor and serving on her board, her term starting October 1st and running through September 30th of 2022. So I am going to share that video with everyone right now.
Hi, my name is Gayla Bartlett, and I'm your governor-elect. I am so excited that you're here tonight with us, taking this opportunity to learn about the position of lieutenant governor. It is a fun, exciting, and rewarding position. I held lieutenant governor term of my division for 3 terms, 2 full terms, and 1 I got to step in for someone else. It was so much fun. I learned so much as being lieutenant governor from my clubs. They are amazing, wonderful clubs. You grow attached to them. I am still in contact with my clubs, even though I'm not their lieutenant governor anymore. Why? Because it's fellowship, it's love, it's Kiwanis. As a lieutenant governor, you get to be the feet on the ground, going to these clubs and delivering the governor's message. That's a huge responsibility and a great privilege as well. So there's only one governor, and there's about 21, 22, 23 lieutenant governors, which is great. So if you choose to take this position for next year, you'll actually be working with me, and we'll be taking the mission and the vision of Kiwanis to a different kind of level. We're going to work on continuing to grow and strengthen the Kiwanis brand and to work on maintaining our clubs and their strength and making sure everybody's up to charter strength. But of course, if you know me, we always have to sparkle. There has to be a little sparkle, a little magic, and a lot of fun when we go out to our clubs. What I'd love you to think about is how your talents, your gifts can help your divisions. I know it's a lot of responsibility, but if you are up to the challenge, the district would love to have you. It is such a fun, and I think I've spoken to so many other past governors about how much fun they had as lieutenant governors. It is the best way for you to give back. If you haven't been a district chair yet, if you're thinking of becoming governor, this is a great stepping stone for you. We would love to have lots of new faces, new ideas in our lieutenant governors. We believe in all of you. We're excited to have you with us tonight. We hope that we can answer any questions that you have about becoming a lieutenant governor. And again, how important and crucial you are. Your enthusiasm, your passion, that's going to come out in everything that you do with your clubs. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to meet all of you and hopefully have you on my board next year if this is something you choose to do. As you know, I'm not here with you in person. I'm recovering from surgery, but I wanted to make sure that I told you how proud I am of you, how excited I am at the opportunity to get to work with some of you or all of you next year. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Governor Dennis now, Brian and the education crew, or myself. I would be happy to answer any questions you have as well. We're always excited to talk to Kiwanians and spread the love and the magic and the passion of Kiwanis. Remember, we're here to serve the children in our community one child at a time, but we're also here to serve each other. And there is no greater gift that you can give to your fellow Kiwanians than your love, passion, and talents. So again, thank you for being here. I'm so proud of all of you, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.
All right, so some great points and message from our Governor-elect Gala, and hopefully that got you even more excited about the prospect of serving as a lieutenant governor. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into a question and answer session, and these are some questions that have been submitted through the chat or through the Facebook chat. If you have a question that you would like asked of the presenters, you may submit it in the chat either to everyone or you can send it via direct message to me. So the first question, this was covered a little bit between each of you, but if you could just talk a little bit about the day-to-day responsibilities of a lieutenant governor. What happens on the average day during your term as a lieutenant governor?
Okay, I can say I'm Leleath Bailey from Bermuda. I can say in Bermuda, we communicate. We have no other choice. And my responsibility, we only have 2 clubs. We used to have 3 clubs, which brings me to the point of the younger generation forward as well. Grooming the Key Club graduates as they come out of school, and working along with the advisors in the schools. That's one responsibility. The other responsibility is club leadership training, getting the presidents and the club overall interested in club leadership training in order to take over the responsibilities of a lieutenant governor, and as well as in their own roles. And I find you really have to follow up on these things, because if not, communication breaks down and it's not in the best interest of the club. So it's a challenge sometimes, because with human nature the way it is, you'll find people don't do what you want them to do. And lots of times they will say, oh, I'm not getting paid for this. This is volunteer. But I say, although it's volunteer, you made a commitment when you put up your right hand and you decided to be installed as a Kiwanian, as no matter what position you take on, you are committed to that position and you should carry it out. Those has been some of the biggest challenges in my own club. For example, one of my members took on a role, but didn't carry out the role of treasurer. So what happens there? The work falls on the others, myself in particular, and it's not easy sometimes. So these are some of the things that a lieutenant governor will have to deal with. Keeping up the club's self-esteem, the members' self-esteem, that's not easy. You have different personalities to work with. So try to get a good working relationship with your members and your officers, if you can. So these are some of the things that I have experienced as a lieutenant governor on a daily basis. Right now, because the treasurer might have fallen down or whatever, I have to step forward. I'm not a treasurer, but guess what? My club has to function. So I'm going to carry out that role. And these are some of the things that we have to deal with. So.
Thank you, Leleath. Dana or Paul, anything you want to add to that?
Yes, I would say for me, what kept me busiest was trying to stay in communication with the presidents and secretaries of the clubs in my division, so I could keep a finger on the pulse of what their needs were and where their strengths and weaknesses were, and to get to know the personalities of the people in the club so that I help people who want help. And I try not to be overbearing with people who feel like they have a well-oiled machine and they don't need my help. So I just let them know that I am there if they have any questions or want some help or whatever. And I just encourage people to get involved in interclubs, because I think that's important to keep our division strong. And then just making sure that I get all the information that I get from the district to each club secretary and president to pass on to their club members. And that kept me pretty busy for a while. In our division, the clubs were very separated geographically. They were an hour apart, an hour and a half apart, or 2 hours apart. So it was a chore to be physically present at their meetings for some of the clubs, but we did the best we could, and it worked out well, I think. Yeah. Paul?
Well, I have to agree with what you said. We're both in the same division, and we work throughout the same things. And it's true. It's as a lieutenant governor, my feeling was always to be able to meet with the other clubs best as we could, so I could get to know people and have an idea of what they're looking for. And sometimes just through a conversation with them as lieutenant governor, you find out more things on a one-on-one than going to a rally or something, or convention. But when one-on-one, sometimes they'll ask you a question and you weren't aware that there was a problem, or might not be necessarily a problem. It's how to do things. And that was kind of great to be able to help out and answer these questions. And I find myself as in between the district. If I couldn't figure out what they wanted, I would go to someone at a higher level, and that would have fallen on to me, and I would pass it on. And sometimes that same information would be good in other clubs in the same division, or could be used in another division or where else. But that was some of the things I really enjoyed. Being a lieutenant governor is a great position to have. It's really a good position.
Brian, I also found that one of the things that I did often was to try to find out who had a new position as an officer or a director, and make sure that they were introduced to the proper channels for education and knew what their resources were. And I found that was that was a pretty critical thing because a lot of people get thrown into positions. Like, for instance, we had a secretary once who was just thrown into that position with absolutely no experience with Kiwanis whatsoever. And they were floundering. And so with Paul's help, I was able to get some information for that person and help them along, let them know some of the timelines for reporting and things that they needed to do, which really was very helpful to them. But if you don't know who the new people are and who's struggling at that position, then you can't help them. So you have to do some searching and find those people. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Those are really great answers. I appreciate your responses to that. Next question is that you talked about attending district board functions and district events, I should say, for district board meetings. How often does the district board meet? So I guess how many responsibilities throughout the year is the question for a lieutenant governor to attend at the district level.
Usually they meet at the convention, and there'll be two other leadership conferences that they will have meetings, unless the governor requests additional meetings.
Yes, usually after the district convention, you'll have the board meeting, usually on Sunday morning after breakfast.
Yep.
Or as Paul said, as and when is required. And we have had one online as well, 1 or 2 online board meetings as well. So thanks to technology, we are able to function.
Excellent. Can you share what your favorite part of serving as lieutenant governor was?
Well, for me, it was meeting people, and on a district level, going to conventions and meeting people, gathering new ideas that we knew we could bring back and share with our clubs and our division. It was very inspiring. It was very helpful to the clubs in the division to see what other people were doing. So I mean, I can't say enough about participation in district events. So whenever I had a chance to go to those, I would make it and try to network as much as possible with people to have more information to bring back my division.
For me, I would say as well, meeting new people, making friends, traveling to New England in particular. And I remember I wasn't a lieutenant governor at the time. I was the president traveling with my lieutenant governor. And we were promoting our green jackets in New England. And I really enjoyed that. And we were trying to start a foundation through our green jackets here in Bermuda. But unfortunately, the laws didn't permit us to do that. So that's one of my remarkable occasions. And seeing our friends in New England rally around and assist us with the green jackets. And as a matter of fact, this is an advertisement. I still have some for sale. Large size, though, very large sizes. But leaving that aside, it's a struggle to really get people to run for higher positions sometimes. And I think you yourself must project in order to give others the opportunity. It's really an opportunity to do better for yourself, to help the needy, to help the poor, the seniors, the youth. And, you know, it's a community. We are more or less community oriented. We must get out there and spread the word of Kiwanis. And I enjoy doing that. And I know when the New Englanders come to Bermuda, particularly during the governor's visit, they might cruise down sometimes. In the past, they had flown down, and we show them around. You know, I enjoy doing that, taking them to Government House, to the Cabinet Office to see the Premier of Bermuda, and basically having dinner. I remember in the past, it was a Valentine's dinner. The Governor Carolyn Perry came, and Tim McMahon, and
So I think Leleath we might have lost Leleath. Well, we'll keep going for now, and we'll get back to her when she gets back with us. Dana or Paul, anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, the only thing I would like to add is that one of my favorite things goes back over 20 years when I first became a lieutenant governor, when the past lieutenant governor in my division took me around to all the clubs to introduce me. And that felt kind of good because being the new guy and this guy being the older and having the experience of it all, that was kind of nice and sort of relaxing. So to do that. And that was one of the things I really kept in mind. But meeting the people and getting used to that is a great thing, and especially with the activities at the convention and the conferences, it's another way to really get to know things. It's a great position. It's a very great position.
Wonderful. We have a few more questions that have been submitted. What were the most challenging and rewarding parts of your job when serving as lieutenant governor?
For me, I think the most challenging situation that I ran into was one where there was conflict within different groups in a club in our division. That was a challenge because there was no real good answer to that when I was presented with it. I gathered some council members together. Paul was one of them, and we put our heads together and talked about it. And we went to that particular club and the people that were having the issues, and we talked with them, and a number of different solutions were talked about, but I don't think we actually were able to solve the issue. It was an internal issue with just a conflict of personalities, and you can't change personalities. So it was very, very difficult situation. So that was the most challenging one. The most rewarding things are again, just the things that you can bring to the clubs in your division for information, learning experiences, and social gatherings, and encouraging people in your division to attend district events so that they can see a much bigger picture and feel part of a bigger group that's serving the whole world, not just their community. That's a great experience. I can't say enough about it. Yeah.
Well, I think the most rewarding things I got out of being a lieutenant governor is that the appreciation that I got from attending the various clubs and some of the talks sometimes I did on subjects. They told me ahead of time what they wanted so I could be prepared better for them. But that was to me, was really, it's rewarding to find that they appreciate what you do. And as far as challenging, I was outside of what Dana just mentioned. I haven't been really anything that really put me off to the side as far as challenging the 3 clubs, now 4 clubs. At the time, it was only 3 of us. So things were pretty pretty well simple, easy to work with. So that's how I look at that.
Excellent. Our next question, I know Leleath talked about this a little bit, but could you elaborate on and explain the process of how and when lieutenant governors are elected, and maybe go into detail on the caucus process?
Well, a caucus, when you hold a caucus, and that's the time that with all your clubs in your division, you have someone in one of those clubs, or maybe more than one, will want the position or run for the position of lieutenant governor. At that time, you get to vote the president and I can't remember who the other person will vote to elect someone to be lieutenant governor in that division. And from there on, they're elected for whatever 1 year, if it's a 1 year term, or if we've been doing some 2-year terms in our division. So I guess it's an option of what you want to do.
Now we have a 3-year term that was voted on in one of the last board meeting we had, one of our board meetings. So if you have the time, then you can run for 3 years now. It used to be 2. Yes. I mean, not to scare anyone, 1 is enough for some people. Some people just love Kiwanis. And it's not only the love, it's the, you have to be practical. If you really don't have anyone in your club who's stepping up sometimes, you have to recycle. That's what I call it. This is my first time I ran was in 2006, I believe. Then here I am. No, I'm sorry. It was 2011. Because I remember Governor Vesta was lieutenant governor just before me. So here I am again. Sometimes you have to come back. And for small clubs, sometimes you'll find that you have to do more than 1 year if you have the time and the ability to do it.
Excellent. And so we will move into one more question in the interest of time. And let's go with, we've got a few more. How did your experience as lieutenant governor impact the rest of your Kiwanis career? Or time in Kiwanis?
What was the question again, Brian?
How did your experience as lieutenant governor impact the rest of your time in Kiwanis?
The rest of my time, okay. Well, I'm the type of person, I am committed to whatever I take on to do. I am very committed. So I find that I'm constantly working, constantly following up. And I must say at this time that it's not all about you, not all about the lieutenant governor at all. It's about the people who put their time and effort to assist you. And right now, I'm going to call a name. She's probably listening. Kiwanian Patricia Swann, who has taken on the job as administrator because we are a small club. And to be honest, I wish she was around 10 years ago because she is phenomenal. And there comes a time when you not exactly step back. You have to recognize the work that your members do and award them for what they do, because after all, it's them that makes you shine, right? They if you have a successful group you're working with, then you're a role model, so to speak. And that is a good thing for any club. So having members at a certain caliber can also make the lieutenant governor's job less stressful. It makes the member more effective and even maybe want to rise up to another position in the club. So that's what I find for myself.
I found that becoming lieutenant governor impacted my time in Kiwanis most by exponentially increasing the number of people whose lives you touch. When I was the club president, I had the ability to pass my passion on for Kiwanis to 61 members in my club. I became the leader of our division as lieutenant governor. I had the ability to pass that on to over 100 people, over 200 people. And then when you're on the district board of directors, then look how many people you have an opportunity to impact, especially if you have the time to take on some of the more active roles within the district besides being on the board. So each time you step up to a new position, you're spreading that word out to more and more people, and what you say and do affects more.
I found that my time and has impacted me in a way that I enjoyed. I jumped into something else. I was a secretary and maintained that position as a secretary. And it's something I enjoy. So it also helps me out in helping others that are secretaries at the same time, because they might remember me as a lieutenant governor and what I did then. And adding on this other position also can be of some help. So that's what impacted me pretty good.
Wonderful. Well, I want to give a big thank you to our three presenters tonight, Paul Lafleur, Dana Bartlett, and Leleath Bailey. I hope you'll all join me in a round of applause from wherever you're tuning in tonight to thank them not only for their past leadership, but for sharing all this important information. And I hope you all are inspired to step up and consider running for the position of lieutenant governor, if not this year, in a future year. And of course, another big thank you to Governor-elect Gayla Bartlett for submitting her video, and to those of you who will be stepping up as lieutenant governor and will get to serve on her board starting in October. So as we wrap up tonight with some concluding remarks, I want to remind everybody, if you have not already, please type your name and your club in the chat so that David, our interclub liaison, can take attendance tonight and provide an accurate list of the clubs that were here with us tonight. So I hope you will all join us for the rest of our March workshops. Elise is going to share her screen so we can remind you of what we have in store for the rest of the month. Thank you, Elise. So next week, we're happy to present this session using Zoom for club meetings. That's with Sylvia Ramirez from the Chelsea, Massachusetts Club and Amanda Brodkin from the Westfield, Massachusetts Club. They're going to talk about kind of the nuts and bolts of Zoom and how to set up a meeting for your club, but also how to have fun and exciting and engaging club meetings virtually during this pandemic. On March 17th, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to have a district-wide interclub. And by that, we mean we're going to translate a lot of what goes into an in-person interclub to a virtual setting. So when you register to attend this, you'll have the opportunity to choose from 5 different breakout group options. And when we all come together, we'll have a couple points of discussion as a big group, but then we'll divide into 5 smaller groups on the topics of club meetings, membership, service, public relations and communications, or interclubs and service leadership programs. And what we want to do is give you the chance to talk directly with and network with clubs from all over New England and Bermuda. So it'll be a good chance to have a casual conversation and meet some new people. So that's March 17th. And we want to thank Daryl Sylvia and Robert Wiley from the membership team for helping to pull that together. The following week on March 24th, we have our district parliamentarian, David Weisskoll, presenting Holding a Successful Annual Meeting. You may or may not know that all clubs must hold their annual meetings where they conduct business and elect their next year's officers by May 15th of each year. And Dave will walk through what you should do to prepare and how to hold a successful annual meeting this spring. And we will wrap up our month on Wednesday, March 31st, a conversation between Governor-elect Gayla Bartlett and your 2020-2021 District Governor, Dennis Murphy. They're going to talk about Dennis's background, his goals from this year, his Kiwanis service, and much more. So this will be a chance for you to get to know your governor and ask questions of him at the end. So I hope you'll join us for that conversation on March 31st. Please remember to sign up for these free sessions, and even more so, please remember to share them with those you know, especially your club members, and encourage them to join us every Wednesday at 7:00 p.m. You can find more information on the district Facebook page, on the district Facebook group. You can also go to our website, newenglandkiwanis.org, and we have information posted on all those locations about what we have in store. And we'll also drop the link in the chat so you can sign up if you missed signing up for a session for this month. Most of our workshops are recorded, and if they're recorded, they're on Facebook, and they're also uploaded to our YouTube channel. We've been working, or I should say Leleath has been working to compile resources and materials from all of the workshops that we've presented in the last few weeks. And those are all in a Google Drive folder that you can access, along with attendance from those sessions for interclub credit. You can take a look at your email and go to the very bottom of your recent confirmation email for tonight to find a link, or Elise will also drop a link to Google Drive in the chat where you can find the resources from past workshops. If you or your club members are not receiving our communications from the district about these workshops and other news, please remember to send us an email at education@newenglandkiwanis.org, and we will make sure that you're subscribed to our email list. And a reminder from the beginning of tonight's workshop that we have a survey out, and we're asking all attendees to complete the survey for our December, January, and February workshops. It only takes 3 or 4 minutes. It's very brief, and we ask for your honest feedback. You can either submit it anonymously or you can include your name on your feedback. And Elise has, I believe, just dropped the link in the chat if you have a chance to complete that. We've had 14 people respond so far, and we know that there have been about 160 Kiwanians who've joined us over the last few weeks. So please take a few minutes by next Friday, if you could, to share your feedback. I would like to make sure we give a big thank you to our District Education Committee members, Elise DeNorfia, Judy Barrett, and David Griffin, who helped behind the scenes to make these workshops so successful. So please join me in a round of applause for them. They're helping to keep these going week after week and to bring you some unique Kiwanis education right from the comfort of home. So with that, thank you to our presenters tonight and to each of you for joining us and supporting this workshop series. We hope to see you next Wednesday for our session on using Zoom for club meetings. Stay safe, be well, and thank you so much for being a Kiwanian. Have a great night.